Hello and welcome to Ferris Sports Update. I'm your host, Rob Bentley, and thanks for tuning in. On today's show, we'll recap an unbeaten home weekend for the Ferris State Bulldogs as we check in with the Ferris State men's basketball, women's basketball, and hockey teams, all victorious at home this past weekend. We'll start with men's basketball, joined by head coach Andy Bronkema. Coach, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Just one game this past week, and a few delays going into that one game against Lake Superior State with the closure of the bridge and some bus issues, but finally got a chance to play on Sunday and got a big win.
I mean, we obviously looking forward to that game for quite some times, really since they knocked us off and, played well against us at their place and took it to us. So we were looking forward to, trying to improve and to beat them at our place. And then there's some delays happen and, just things out of your control. So none of that can be controlled by us, and you have to play them when you play them. So the game finally came, and it was an interesting game, and we came out on top. So we're happy about that.
Before we get to some of the highlights, I know we talked after the game, and despite having a delay playing on a Sunday afternoon, still had a great crowd and great support on hand.
Yep, very thankful for the people that came back, that planning on a 1 o'clock game, and then, okay, well, let's change our plans to 3:30, and then, okay, let's change our plans to Sunday, and then, everybody that came back and enjoyed that game, I'm thankful for that.
As we go to some of the highlights, a crowd of over 2,000 fans on hand and got off to a great start. Had a great opening half for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I thought we showed great discipline in the game plan, and it was a fun environment to play in. And then went into halftime with a nice lead that we built, and in the second half, they cut into that lead, and eventually we were able to hold them off. But pretty much a lot of twists and turns, but it's not that surprising considering the games that have happened in the past, and pretty much expected to come down to the wire, and the fact that it came down to the last minute or so wasn't that surprising.
What were some keys here in the first half? You got off to a 20-point lead late in the first half, led 39-21 here at halftime.
Well, I thought the keys were just our discipline, and I thought we were disciplined, and I thought we lacked discipline in the second half in a lot of areas. But we were able to hold on and make some plays. And I think they missed a few shots, and they had to find their rhythm, with their big guy getting hurt. So as soon as they found their rhythm and, altered their plan of attack, they were right back at us.
Obviously, two teams that know each other very well. You've had a lot of matchups here over the past few years, and we just saw Kim J. Williams right there, a talented point guard for Lake Superior.
No, man, he's got a ton of talent. And, I mean, in some ways, it would be good to see him graduate, in most ways, but on the other hand, it's fun to play against guys like that. He's so good and so challenging, and they got a bunch of guys that are talented, and they're shooters, and their spacing and their system and their grittiness, so it's just a fun team to play against.
Here, Noah King with a basket finish with 14 points. Zach Hankins had another big day for you with 24 points, shot the ball well from the floor. Yeah,
we shot well overall. I was just a little disappointed, not even disappointed, I guess, but 3 of 18 from 3 and to still win the game. I mean, we're not going to shoot 3 of 18 every game, so I'd like to see a few more fall from the perimeter. Thought our shot selection, tongue twister there, was pretty good. In the second half, we took a couple question marks, but you also got to give them the freedom to play.
Obviously, they were able to cut into the lead in the second half, got it down to, I think, 3 at one point, but your kids showed a lot of resiliency to overcome that.
Yeah, it's almost like they're more comfortable, in that situation. It's funny, but they cut into it right away. 10 points off that 18-point lead instantly, and then it was like, well, here we go. Reprogram your brain for what's now happening and adjust and get after it, and I thought we did that. We stayed on the glass. A lot of these highlights here, were second chance points, and that's a good thing to do. And they were forced to play a little bit of a smaller lineup in some situations, again with Nicholson out, but it's a great game.
How important was the home court advantage for you? 12-0 now at home this season.
It's important. I mean, wish we could play them all here, and it's a comfort level where we're getting shots up and practicing here, every day, and just the people like our team. They cheer for us. Our guys are comfortable here, so home court is just a big advantage.
I know obviously the second meeting here of the year, but may not be the last time we see these two teams play, and obviously they're going to be a team to contend with here as the year goes on.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, we're pretty much planning on playing them again. That'd be a great scenario. It means that we were both advancing. But there's other good teams in our league too. You never know how the bracket turns out, who's playing who. But there's been years we've played them 4 times, and if that happens again, then we'll be ready for it.
How important was a win like that? Obviously, gives you a 2-game lead in the GLIAC North here with 8 games left in the regular season.
Yeah, hard to start talking about magic numbers or 2-game leads with 8 games to play. There's just so many things that can happen and that will happen between now and the start of playoffs. So it's nice to be in that position now, but it just really doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, obviously, this week you wrap up the 3-game homestand, take on Northwood on Thursday night, Saginaw Valley on Saturday. You've seen both of these teams once before. Just talk about these 2 teams and the opponents this week.
Yeah, they've gotten better. They're on a roll. Northwood's won 6 games in a row, and they got the rotation down. Their young players are playing well. They have a real young roster and a few seniors that are doing their part, most definitely. But their young players are developing, and then Saginaw might even be younger. With only really Wells as a veteran, and he's had some huge games, a couple games in the 30s, but they're just 2 teams that haven't quit, and Northwood is real hot with six wins in a row, and Saginaw is playing better too. So looking forward to studying them both, seeing how they've changed, seeing what they're doing now, if anything different, and developing an attack to try to beat them.
How important are these 2 games here at home and trying to hold serve at home? You've been unbeaten at home, but obviously 4 games here on the road coming up here over the next couple weeks.
Yep, each game has its own storyline, and we try to develop that storyline and relay it to our guys. Hey, what's it going to feel like? What's it going to be like? What are the teams playing like? But we have a couple home games here, and then we've kind of circled this road stretch that we're going on from the beginning of the year. I mean, it's our 2 longest road trips back to back. Thank you, GLIAC. And but it'll be a fun challenge, and we've seen it from the beginning. So we're going to try to get up for that challenge and see what we can do. Try to win them all, and if you don't, you move on to the next one.
Now 21-1 overall, and I know we talked throughout the year about a lot of veterans coming back from last year, but some younger guys that have seen a lot of playing time for you. Jalen McFadden, obviously Greg Williams coming back off an injury. Just talk about their development.
Yeah, that's the key, developing. We want to keep throwing them in there so that they develop, and we've been rewarded throwing them in there and them making big plays. So we continue to expect that spark, expect those big plays, and go from there. But there's other names that aren't playing as much right now that are going to give us a lift in the future too. The future's still bright, even though we lose. We lose, in my mind, 4 1,000-point scores. I mean, if you count Peter's 1 year at junior college and add that in, so. Those are big shoes to fill, and but the future, the role players now that are developing into bigger roles, the future's bright, and we couldn't be more excited.
Well, Coach, looking forward to more action this week. Thursday against Northwood, Saturday against Saginaw Valley.
Thanks, Robert.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.